Hi, good morning. I just want to feature, what does it look like, basically grief and loss within our disability journeys. And try and capture it a wee bit so it's just not textbook and it can resonate with people and their personal experiences. I just can't stress enough how much parents of children with special needs or disabilities or neurodiversities, how much we love our children. I've already said that in the previous podcast, but I think it's important also to recognise. I think for families to frame their experiences and what they're going through, it's important to understand the grief process so they don't feel alone and they're not questioning the validity of their feelings. Am I the only one feeling this way? It's important then that we frame that for families to realise it is a natural process of grief that um, families can experience and go through when they get the diagnosis of disability or special needs, because really it changes the whole narrative um, and trajectory of their family. As I say, mine was prenatal, so I knew from 11 weeks that there was going to be complications for me, and I grieved through my pregnancy, and was in, I'm going to talk about the 5 stages of grief. I was very much in the denial stages for a very long time and really worried about would I be able to measure up to be the parent that my Louisa needed me to be. I was so frightened. But I mean, just to capture roughly what I feel anyway, uh, that grief process might look like. We talk systemically about the whole family unit. My training's always been about systemic, seeing about how each part of the family comes together as a whole. And I think everybody's affected by disability, and it's important to get that message out there. For instance, it could be daddy had envisaged going to football matches, maybe you're having a boy, and had all these dreams and aspirations, for to be able to go to matches together, spend time together, maybe take the first pint together, and all these dreams we have for our children. Maybe being at their wedding, as they go through the life course. And that maybe obviously that doesn't happen once your child is severely disabled or has complex needs. They're good, the reality hits that it's going to be lifelong care. As I said, the siblings are affected. If we look as the whole family unit, the siblings maybe were dreaming of like spending time together, make-up parties, going shopping together later on. And obviously all those things change when you have a child with a disability. So you grieve that loss, the siblings grieve that loss, or if the children are non-verbal, they grieve that loss too, that haven't been able to engage and have a conversation with, their brother or sister. And naturally, mummies grieve a lot. I grieved a lot during my pregnancy and after it for a long time because I hadn't reached a point of acceptance. And I'm going to go on and explain each of the stages of grief so that makes sense to you. Because I guess I was in denial for a long time that I was just living in fear and frightened for would I be able to be enough as a mummy and be the best version of a parent that I could be for my daughter. So I grieved that. I blamed myself. I think a lot of mummies do that. I need to get that out there too. A lot of mummies blame themselves. That, like, for years I kept thinking that's something I did wrong. There were things in my pregnancy, like I always worked with kind of high risk situations. So I did get like a hepatitis injection and stuff, and didn't know I wasn't pregnant. So they always carried that guilt, mummy guilt. If I hadn't got that, would that have changed the situation for my daughter? You know, so I always worked with a challenging behaviour, and there's always that risk of injury, So yeah, I carried that mummy guilt for years, and I grieved. Yeah, I guess I grieved because I just didn't know what was coming, and would I be able to manage it? And that was scary. That was really, really scary. So it's the fear of the unknown as well when we're going through the grief process, because it's something we're not maybe used to, and we're just hoping we can measure up and be what our children need us to be. So yeah, there's so much. The whole family's affected systemically by disability, and we all grieve. We all grieve in different ways, and it just doesn't go away once the child's born. We grieve through the milestones and the stages when, like for instance, wanting to go out together for a nice meal, those kind of things where maybe that's not practical or possible. There's just so many areas that we grieve as we go through the life course. Um, yeah, but as I say, I just want to reinforce just how much we love our children, and wouldn't change it. But just want to highlight the parents that it's going through it. It's okay to have these feelings. That they're very natural, and I'll explain each stage of the grief process now in detail next. But they're very, very natural feelings, and you shouldn't feel guilty if you're feeling that way. It's very natural process of grief. Thank you.